chess has been around forever. And so the amount of title players signing up has also been amazing. A lot of them have been taking advantage of the offerings we have. We turned our Title Tuesdays into a weekly thing, to give back even more. We're launching the Premium Arena. We increased the prize funds in Title Tuesday, as you saw. So not only did we increase the prize fund, but it's now weekly instead of monthly. And then not just the first Tuesday, but every Tuesday. There's more coming in terms of events that I have been sworn to secretly see on some of those, so I'm not going to say it yet. But we have plans to increase our offering overall and things that have already existed, but maybe unifying and making them bigger, badder, and greater. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. Thank you, Daft Punk. But there's also been a lot of title players who have experienced the pandemic, if you will, of online cheating. And forgive me if that's an inappropriate term right now, but I would argue that we've been facing our own kind of pandemic. Before I start talking about that, I want to bring up an open letter that was sent to chess.com. We threw this on our own template, but this was a Word document that was sent to us by International Master. It was forwarded to us by Beglar Jobava, International Master, but it was signed by many title players, including some of the world's best. And to be quite honest, a few names that maybe they're more familiar with our fair play process than some of their peers know, if that's the most appropriate way I can say that about some of the names on there and for those listening. But what I want to highlight is that there's a lot on that list that we're actually already doing that people don't know. I know that that's not a totally legible thing for you, but in my effort to be totally open and address this in a way that I hope gets shared, and I hope people talk about it, I hope the criticism and questions come. They always do anyway, so I don't need to hope for it. But I also hope that there's maybe some understanding and insight into some things we haven't shared before. And I'm going to tell you that right before this show, I received a phone call from a dear friend who acknowledged to me that his student had cheated and admitted, and asked me what the process was for his second chance. Last week, I dealt with more high-profile closures in terms of cheating, things that were happening that would shock you. We have closed 3 north of 2,600 GMs and many people below that over the last week. I'm still not going to talk about names, but what I'm going to say is this. The improvements we made in terms of the added cheat detection here have recently led to some breakthroughs that, while we will continue to honor our promise of acting conservatively, if anyone in chat has a link, if you would, to our Fair Play and Cheating on Chess.com that has our testimonials from guys like Maxime Vacher-Lagrave, Eric Hansen, John Bartholomew, people that we have invited to see under the hood and have given us their endorsement. You're also going to see a link there to a letter from the head of statistics at Harvard that says that Chess.com has been audited, and that as much as Chess.com as much as smoking can be proven to cause cancer, Chess.com's cheating catches cheaters, but also acts conservatively. And the reason that's important to us is because as much as it always feels like we need to act in the moment, I got to be totally honest and give news. I have zero interest in defaming or destroying the reputation of any title player or human being on the planet. And our policies operate in that we may be sometimes criticized for acting too slowly. I'm aware that our company might lose many PR battles along the way of being seen as acting too slow, but you will know that when we pull the trigger, not only are we ready to go to court, but also we're not looking back. Despite threats and things that have come our way, you can also be sure that we're going to continue to win the war while losing many battles, in the sense that we're not going to stop investing in creating opportunities for professionals online. If anything, we're increasing it. And we're not doing it in one-off kind of splash big prize funds. We're doing it every week and giving every title player an opportunity to do something, not just with streaming, not just with Title Tuesdays, but with other Grand Prix series we have coming. Again, I won't say more, Nick, don't worry. But I'm getting into it because this isn't about me defending against open letter. This is about what I want to start diving into. I'm going to tell you as specifically as I can what it is that we do. Is that this is a very difficult topic, because when you close a young, talented, person of any country who may actually be a very strong player, but maybe have given in to water cooler talk and people saying, don't worry, chess.com can't catch you anyway. They were wrong. When you close a title player who, even if we want to morally judge why they did it, might literally be fighting to feed his family because of what's happening with COVID-19 or because of other lack of opportunities. It's not right, and we do act, but we also don't judge and create a second chance opportunity with suspensions required for prize events and things like that because of that. When you close anybody, even if they're just a regular member without a reputation in the chess community, you don't know what anybody's dealing with. They're demons in their life, right? Be kind, because you can't rewind. My mom always used to say that. And the point is, be kind because you don't know what other people are dealing with. And that is the policy we operate. So people who want to judge, usually behind an anonymous veil, that we're doing a wrong thing, I want you to know we're doing the right thing. And we're acting and we're closing people for violations. And when we do, it's not easy for anybody. And sometimes it leads to the kind of heartfelt conversations that are very difficult to deal with between a parent talking about a child who came clean, or like I said, a friend of mine with a student, or a fellow title player. And so what is it? So I've gotten my nerves out of the way. I want you to know, like, this is a very sensitive issue, but we're not dumb to it. And with some of the algorithms we've broken through with recently, we are about to close more title players than we ever have to. So our team of fair play professionals, we use statistical methods. And the reason I want to emphasize that first is to always remind you that no matter what it looks like, we are never reacting to a mob mentality. We are acting with DNA evidence in terms of the blueprint of the game so that we could stand behind this legally. In March, we reviewed more than 90 million. That's actually getting into the record levels of how many games, and the fair play team has been working overtime. To date in March, including some that we have received more than 300 written confessions from title players, including grandmasters north of 2,600. And I won't get into more specifics than that. So despite the public outcries you might hear, despite people being frustrated at times that we acted too slowly, despite even the very, very few cases, and again, always in total transparency on stateofchess.com, and one that was on Reddit recently, I would argue that the fact that we were able to acknowledge that we were wrong about a specific case speaks more highly to the fact that you should trust us when we hold to our guns and don't reopen somebody. If anything, acknowledging the very, very few times we've been wrong over the last 9-10 years might speak more truthfully and highlight to the fact that we are ultimately still humble. We don't claim to be perfect. We just claim to be doing our best. And if we mess up and a proper review is given, you will be given a chance at a second chance, and you will be reopened. Hopefully that speaks more truthfully to the fact of what you can discern the same. Again, I don't want to say we're claiming to be doing a good job or the best job. I think we're doing a great job within the means and investment that we can measure, and I think we can always do better. But the main thing we're doing is trying to prepare to not just deal with individual cases, but our goal and our investment is to say the biggest pie in the sky thing is to eventually kind of end cheating, at least in terms of title player events. A new person coming along who cheats one time, or people who, get given to temptation randomly. We obviously close accounts in that realm of the thousands every month, right? But we do believe that there is a potential future where, in the process of us losing some PR battles and doing things privately and conservatively, not in the open public way that some people would love to do and scream crying wolf, the truth is, over time, less and less cheaters will be playing in our events, because those who have tried to slander us and threaten suits but then they're not playing anymore. People that won't admit, they're not playing anymore in our events. And people that did had to serve, in some cases, multi-year bans before they were given a second chance, and then are forever proctored even more closely, as they should be. And we do not operate in a third chance opportunity. We operate in a second chance opportunity, and the third time. If you are told that we're not catching cheaters, you're wrong. And I'm asking you to not do it. And you should know that, again, you're right that everyone is right, that we might act conservatively in a way that gets people frustrated on an individual event level. But we're not going to stop creating opportunities and events for those players who are frustrated. They can rest assured in that. And the moment we have enough to close, it will be closed, and they will not come back without the promise that they'll be clean to you forevermore and never have a second chance again if they go and not being given a chance back. And then also, we're not going to stop investing in the prizes that we are. And the open letter you sent title players has been received. And everybody who's considering playing in the premium arena, you should know that it's even easier for us to catch cheaters who are not, by definition, having dedicated their life to the game, and they're supposed to match up with engines. Is that my way of scaring you? You're darn right it is. Please don't cheat. We're going to catch you, and we're going to catch you faster than you think. And you're
see with all the knight g5 check, king h6, king march, what was the best for white. But certainly rook c1 is criticized by the engine. Our evaluation bar has suddenly dropped and is now showing decisive advantage for black.
I don't believe in it. Queen c4. Oh, stopping queen c1 check. That's very important. Like queen c4, there were no other squares to use. So queen c4 says, you're not getting this check. And black can even consider g5 and g4 because the king on h6 cannot be attacked with just one lone knight over here. You need to get more pieces in the game. The rook on d5, the queen on c4 say, no, you're not getting anything. Nothing for you. Wow.
That is an absolutely crazy turn of events from a position where it looked like Fabiano was creating a checkmate net around the black king. It is now the white king that will end up being in a trouble after g5, g4. Where does the knight go? Rook e4 to attack the queen, but even if you just play queen to c3, the threats will remain. Not g4, because the rook on e4 is taking care of the g4 square, but this suddenly looks so suspicious for the world number 2. Chances for the Armenian Eagles to strike back.
This is a huge moment here, and Tigran won the first round game against Leonard Dominguez, and right now after rook e4, he's sitting, he's thinking, do I play queen d3, which forces the queens off the board because your rook's under attack, your queen's under attack. If you play queen to e1, I have queen d1, and off go the queens. And black is actually up a pawn in the initial position. They may be double pawns, but one of them is extra. And so black in great shape. And Fabiano Caruana, you see, he's locked in trying to figure out a way to save this game. He loses 32 seconds left.
Queen d3 is a choice of Petrosian, which also is very logical. Even after the trade of queens, now the pawn on a3 is hanging. He still has a healthy extra pawn and very active pieces. So how can Fabiano get out of this? A worse endgame where he is under attack and is down to 12 seconds now.
I think he's lost. And here, king h5. That way you take away rook g4 and you play g4 yourself. Black is just pushing forward. The g pawn will come to g3 after that, and maybe the white king will get checkmated. So here,
I
G4.
believe this could still lead to checkmate indeed because of g4 coming in now, and after knight h2, g3.
Oh, you can't take it. You can't take it. And now h3. The pawn can't take on h3 because this knight's hanging. Just keep pushing those pawns. This is also
He missed the immediate h3, but still the position has to be completely winning. As Robert pointed out, the g3 pawn couldn't be taken because of knight g3 fork, and after rook a1 check, knight e1. So many good moves here for black. The a4 pawn is hanging. He can also take on f2 if he wants, or g5 keeps pushing.
And he can always take on f2 if he's worried about something, but there's nothing really to be worried about at this point. He goes rook a2, immediately putting pressure on f2. The king can go to g4. He goes back to g6. That's smarter. I mean, king g4 has this fear that you might get checkmated, right? If this king were on g4 now, f3 would be mate. And you can just imagine the king there, and black won on time. Wow.
What a game by Tigran Petrosian, taking down the top board of the archbishops with the black pieces. This is the world number 2. World champion challenger Fabiano Caruana going down with the white pieces against an over 200 rating point less rated opponent. I know rating is not everything, but here is the Eagles proving that they can go against the odds. They are turning the tables also on the board of Martirosyan against Zhang.
Defense of your queen, but so too did your knight once it came to b3. So knight b3 looks like a grave error. And after knight takes e4, we see that Tigran Petrosian 2-0 to start, looking to go 3-0. And is it just me, Anna, or should this be just, can you just push the pawn down? Or I saw the eval bar shoot up back in favor of white.
I wonder why it did shoot up. Jeffrey was shaking his head, clearly not happy about the current events on the board. Maybe what the engine sees is a potential counter attack. So if b2, a6, white will also start pushing the a pawn, and you want to try to trade that a pawn for the b passed pawn of black.
Wow, that's actually an amazing line, so I'll show that. So let's say black starts to b2. You're close to the other queen. a6, and then you play a move like bishop to b4, saying, well, you know, I'm blocking you off. The problem is there's also a lot of checks, right? So if this bishop comes away, this king will be susceptible to a bunch of checks. So we can't just easily get away with that. And that's going to be a big problem for Black as he tries to go for a win from this spot. He needs to recognize that his king isn't so safe. And any kind of move like h5, giving your king some more space, there's a6, and after b2, there's a7, saying, please have my pawn. I'll gladly take yours, and then we'll reach a position that should be easy for white to hold.
Incredible turn of events now in favor of Jeffrey. From a lost position, it does look like this is now equal. We will come back to this game later for sure to point out where it could have been a missed chance by Tigran. Right now, it does look like Jeffrey is back in the game and will manage to save half a point.
Yeah, he's needs to claw for this one. He only has 1 minute and 12 seconds. Tigran just under 3 minutes. But it's not like there's another game that has been catching your eye.
Absolutely. The rule number 2, of course, we always want to tune in to the game of Fabiano Caruana, who has the black pieces here against Haik Martirosyan, and he did manage to win.
At least I don't think so. But somehow rook to g1, move my king to h3, and open up this g file. Go for an attack. That's just where my head's at right now.
I'm with you, Robert. Absolutely. The evaluation of the engine is 0-0-0, but when you see this massive kingside aggression of white with the rook coming to the g5, and the reason why the engine evaluates this as equal is due to that a3 passed pawn that black has. So material-wise, black is ahead and does have a protected passed pawn, but he will have to defend so precisely on the king side to survive that attack. I think Petrosyan has great practical chances to win this game.
Oh, indeed. And another idea is bishop f6, not just taking this rook on e7, but I think Wesley did the smart thing, bringing the knight back to d5, covering the f6 square. Queen e4 check is possible. This knight can come into d6 if you want. It's getting very sharp here. And I do prefer white's position. I've made that loud and clear at this point, but I am not positive that there's a way to really crash through. It just may look better than it actually is.
Absolutely. I'm also just switching back and forth through the rest of the boards because this is the final round. Every single board matters. So let's take a look at all 4 boards at the same time. Lenier Dominguez.
Players and, well, Tigran, I mean, you were the hero today. What did you eat for breakfast? What have you been doing? How did you score 3.5 out of 4 against such a monstrous lineup?
Actually, during the match, I was drinking the gin bifito all the time. So, as usual, you guys should know how I'm playing. Okay, I'm retired chess player, but I like blitz and rapid. So usually I'm playing not bad in this kind of stuff. So I'm happy that I could help my team because in the first few, before qualification rounds, I was playing not so good, and the guys was winning, and I was trying to keep not to lose. And okay, I'm happy that in the final I could come back and help the team.
Well, 3.5 out of 4 is certainly not bad, and now we know your secret.
I'm upset. I have winning position in the rest game, so. Looks like I should have something after Queen B2, so I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that it should be winning. But I was surprised that after Queen A3, B2, it's hold. Looks like it's hold. I didn't find anything.
Parham, to you, I would.
So to give you some context, you guys, apparently Wesley made some comments thinking that Tigran Petrosyan did something uncouth, something that wasn't quite legal, and something that sort of is not good for the game of chess. So I guess here we go. Are you kidding? What the ... or what the asterisk are you talking about, man? You are the biggest loser I've ever seen in my life. You was doing pee-pee in your Pampers when I was beating players much more stronger than you. You are not professional, because professionals know how to lose and congratulate opponents. You are like a girl crying after I beat you. Be brave, be honest to yourself, and stop this trash talkings. Everybody knows that I am a very good blitz player. I can win anyone in the world in single game. And Wesley So is nobody for me. Just a player who are crying every single time when losing. Remember what you say about Firouzja. Stop playing with my name. I deserve to have a good name during whole my chess career. I'm officially inviting you to OTB Blitz match with prize fund. Both of us will invest $5,000 and winner takes it all. I suggest all other people who's interested in this situation just take a look at my results in 2016 and 2017 Blitz World Championships, and that should be enough. No need to listen for every crying babe. Tigran Petrosian is always play fair, and if someone will continue officially talk about me like that, we will meet in court. God bless with True. True will never die. Liars will kicked off. Okay. Perfect. But it is what it is. Yeah, okay, so we're going to read an article. 17-year-old European chess champion gets 2-year ban for cheating. Whoa, okay. Patricia Waszuk, the reigning Polish under-18 girls champion and 2019 European under-16 girls champion, has been disqualified for 2 years after allegedly being caught using a mobile phone in a toilet during round 4 of the Ushan Chess Festival on August 16th this year. Patricia played the adult Polish Women's Chess Championship a week earlier with Claudia Coulon and Monika Sochko, saying they were reduced to tears after playing the youngest opponent in the field. Her father claims a smear campaign and has appealed, describing the evidence as circumstantial. Okay, so first of all, the important thing is that this is not online. This is over the board. This is the first thing that I think has to be stated. I assumed when I saw that it was going to be online, but this is over the board. Wow. Okay, so let's keep going. In March 2020, a 39-player open tournament where she scored a near-perfect 7.5 out of 8. The one player she drew against, Michalinka Rudzinska, took it to Facebook on August 17th, a day after Patricia had allegedly been caught cheating. She described the suspicions of other players and the feeling of helplessness. Wow. Let me take a swig. Such a situation should be shocking, but it isn't for any of us because for around 1.5 years, the question hasn't been if she's cheating, but when it would be revealed. I played the player myself this year in the Polish Under-18 Girls Championship, and after every move, she left the playing hall to go to the toilet. But in time trouble, in an objectively easily won position, she was unable to convert, and the game ended in a draw. Her only draw in that tournament, since she won the championship with an incredible 7.5 out of 8, easily beating all the players in the oldest age group. Were we 100% sure that it was pure cheating? Of course not, but the way continual suspicion, irritation, and a lack of reaction from the people who should have got involved affected our mental state is indescribable. I'm not talking even of crying, breakdowns, and the feeling of helplessness after a round, emotions that impacted the further course of the tournament. It was never about the result. It was always about the fact that each of us knew that something was wrong. And yes, the suspicions were strong. Yes, they were reported. And in reply, we heard that we're jealous that we can't enjoy the success of a colleague, and why are we wishing misfortune on her? That, as Polish girls, we're a unit and we play on the same team. We should root for her, support her, clap when she stands on the podium, and proudly listen to the national anthem. How many people lost medals, the chance of fair play and deserved career development, the fulfillment of dreams? We felt cheated, almost unable to do anything about it, since, to put it bluntly, there was simply hardly anyone who wanted to catch her.
Kramnik just subscribed. Wow. Love you, Hikaru.
I mean, I don't know if this translates or not, but nonetheless, this is a very, very good statement. Very, very, very good statement.
Because they've not been playing on chess.com. So it's a surprise even for Vishy that how strong are these players actually? Oh, we're looking at Nikhil Kamath, India's youngest billionaire. It's his game, and he was an avid trader. Then he opened his Zerora, which is actually doing very, very well. So he has taken quick decisions in his life. He was a state level chess player long ago. Even though he says that I don't remember any of it, I feel he's still developing his pieces. He might play on for a while.
He's going to play on for a while for sure. The only thing is I'm not so sure about this move b5. It is a nice aggressive move, but the problem is that c6 square thoda weak ho gaya. So white ka knight can actually jump to d4 and try and get to c6. Meanwhile, what Nikhil wants is to go bishop b7. Yahan se wo bishop pawn attack karega, knight bhi pawn attack karega, and then not that way. And then he wanted to go b4. So stopping that threat, Vishy made the move a3. So there's no attack with b4 anymore.
Wow.
And look at the time situation as well, Samir, because Nikhil is like the clock situation is very close. They're not thinking too much. They're keeping the pressure on the clock as well.
Yeah, and the very interesting thing is Vishy Anand is now at 25 minutes. So 1/6 of his time is over.
Hmm.
And that could be one strategy for these guys. If they hold on, they bring Vishy sir down on time, they
Yeah.
might have some chances. Really dubious right now. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Yes, Tanya?
No, I was just going to say that, about Nikhil, we were reading up on him and we were looking at his amazing story. And actually, he was playing the state level tournament at when he was 14 years old. But he also started his first business at 14. He started, उन्होंने अपने friend के साथ ये करा जहाँ where they were buying and selling used phones. And then apparently उनकी mom को पता चला इसके बारे में and she put a stop to it because she thought वो उनकी studies के बीच में आ रहा था. So
Oh,
he has a very, very strong mind where he, I think, from a very young age, he's able to
Yeah.
strategize and think about these things.
Yeah. He took the decision of dropping out of school and then he went into trading. I mean, my cousin also tried that. You can find my cousin right now on the streets of Lokhandwala. He's searching for a job. If you find him, give him a hug.
Let's quickly bring up this board. All right. And Samit, do you think he's going to play Queen C5?
If he plays Queen C5, it will be unbelievable. But he's thinking, guys, let me remind you, for people who's seeing Nikhil's board and saying he's only 400, how is he playing so strong? He was a state level player. He is one of the brightest minds. He got into trading at the age of, 14 or what? I don't know, very, very young age, and he made an empire.
Yeah.
He's a very, very smart guy. He was a great chess player, and he's a very humble guy. That's why he said, no, I quit and all that. But he's a very strong player. He's thinking right now, if he'll find Queen C5, it's over.
It is such a difficult position, and you're totally right. He was 17 years old when he he got a job. He got his first job. After that, he started Zerodha with his brother in 2010, and he's the youngest billionaire of our country. At 14, he was a state level chess player, winning tournaments. He started his first business at 14. This guy is a genius, and this gameplay. Oh my God, Samir! Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Queen C5 chat on the board. But Nikhil has only 1.5 minutes and there are no increments.
Niranjan
There are
has
no
joined.
increments. If he plays the move King F1, so let's just quickly show it one more time. Vishy made the only move King to H1. King F1 में checkmate थी तो वहाँ King जा नहीं सकता. Queen C5 के बाद King H1 played by Vishy. And now what I don't know if there's something better. Maybe chat, you can tell us if something is better here for white, for black. But the easiest way that I find forward is give a check on C1, rook se check the king has no square to go to, only move knight D1. अगर आप queen आओगे तो queen मर जाएगी, and after knight D1 pick up this pawn on D5, attacking the rook, threatening checkmate, and this will be.
This is but only 53 seconds with Nikhil. Refresh the position, please.
He needs to make a move. He needs to make a move.
Only 47 seconds. I hope he knows that he's low on time here.
Oh my God, he needs to play.
Because this will be a story to tell for ages if he wins this against the legend, Vishy Anand.
Nikhil, chalo. Play some. He goes for rook c1. Samir rook c1 on the board, but he has only 32 seconds.
And Vishy playing very fast on this board. You see, Vishy not spending time on other boards. He knows that this is the board. Because if you see on Kicha Sudeep's game, slowly he's converting. Vishy is getting better. If you see,
very slowly, but we stay to this game because Nikhil has only 20 seconds on his clock, completely winning position for black, but he's down to 16 seconds. I can't watch this.
Oh no.
Samir played queen d5 also. Look at this chat. This is brilliant. Queen a2. The rook is hanging and rook d1. Vishy has to make a move like h3 to escape with his king. Varna d1 पे mate है. And उन्होंने कुछ खेला नहीं. Queen d5 पे live board है. Wow, and Vishy, what a gentleman! Did you see what he did?
Vishy resigned.
This is why Vishwanathan Anand is a legend. This is why he is the most respected sports person in the entire world, Samay, because he would have flagged. He would have flagged Nikhil in this position. Vishy OP in the chat. Vishy OP in the chat. Nikhil OP in the chat.
What a game. And Vishy Anand just proving why he's one of the most legendary and one of the most respectable chess players in the world. What a great gesture,
Full
man.
respect.
He could have easily spent 10 seconds.
Wow.
Let's quickly go to Zoom, Tanya. And let's mute here and let's have a conversation with our amazing panel.
Dada.
Niranjan, are you ready?
Yeah, I think we're.
Let's go live. Oh my god!
Amazing
Oh my
stuff.
god! Guys, Nikhil, can you please unmute?
Can everyone unmute? What a fight! That was amazing.
I think Vishy sir resigned on purpose.
Yeah, that was such a great gesture, Vishy sir. Please, Vishy ji, please you tell us
Tell
what
us
happened.
about that. Tell us what happened.
What should I have done instead?
I had 5 seconds
Instead of
left.
resigning in that position.
You know,
Sorry?
so many players would just try to flag or something, but you were such a great person. You just resigned and you gave him the win, and it was just so beautiful. And Nikhil ji, did you even expect this would happen today?
I think I got really lucky on that night in Bishop Exchange. I think I didn't even see that the mate was covered on the other end, and that thing changed it for me.
Music, give me 1 second. Okay, you guys, so here we go. We're gonna take it in order. First things first, let's look at the accuracy. The accuracy from Grandmasters of Vish, also known as Vishwanath Anand, 92.8%, very good accuracy. Meanwhile, the accuracy of Black is 99.0%. 99.0. So what can I say? Very good player. Maybe the next game. First of all, it's very clear that this is not the game played by a 400. Honestly, I think that if you look at this game, I would say I don't think even Magnus Carlsen would play this well. As this was basically a perfect game from start to finish. Seeing all these tactics beautifully, incredible play. Unfortunately, as we now know, this game is most likely not legit, or actually just is not legit. So very impressive game, but I would say that if this game occurred, honestly, even if I was playing Magnus, I'd be a little bit suspicious, but I would understand it. But I would say anybody who plays this game, again, getting back into the theme of Elo Guesser, below probably 2750, incapable. Anyone below 2750 could not play this game, is what I would say. So that's what I would say. I had help from the people analyzing the game, computers, and the graciousness of Anand Sir himself to treat the game as a learning experience. This was fun and charity. In hindsight, it was quite silly as I didn't realize all the confusion that can get caused due to this. Apologies. Wait, I'm sorry. So basically, I mean, not to flame the guy, but he's saying that the graciousness of Anand Sir himself to treat the game as a learning experience. I mean, I'm pretty sure that when Vishy went into this simultaneous exhibition, this was not about like Vishy being, oh yeah, I'm giving everyone the right to use computers and beat me. I'm pretty sure that's not how Anand perceived this to be. So, I mean, this just shows a lack of understanding. I mean, he basically, as I understand, he's basically not even saying he did anything wrong, really. He's just saying that it was like a fun experience and like it's no big deal. Yesterday was a celebrity simul for people to raise money. It was a fun experience upholding the ethics of the game. I just played the position on the board and expected the same from everyone. Ooh, nice reply. I just played the position on the board and expected the same from everyone. That is like a nice reply. Very nice reply. I love that reply from Vishy. That is so good. That is so good. Acting like it's no big deal. Like when you play chess from the very start, you know, the greatest thing about chess is you versus your opponent. Like it's whoever's the better player wins the game. And so kind of I feel like he doesn't really understand this. It's almost like, what's the big deal? Like honestly, it's like, you know what it's like? I'll give you a good example. And I remember I think it was in like there are two examples I'll give. There are two simuls that I played in, or I didn't play in them both, but in 1997 or 98, I was supposed to play in a simul in New York City against Garry Kasparov. Obviously, I was very young. Kasparov was the world champion, my hero, greatest player in the world. It would be akin to like being in awe of someone, and then it's like, oh yeah, but it doesn't matter what they've done. I'm just gonna find some way to beat them. It doesn't really matter. It's fun because I can win. And certainly when you learn about chess, that's not how it is. So I think it's very dishonorable, like really dishonorable. And say, I don't know, no repercussions. Well, I'll say this: cheating is always wrong, period. But like, if a 2300 tries to cheat to win prize money, of course it's unconscionable. They should be banned forever. But at least there's a motive. Like, you're in a charity event where there's literally nothing on the line. Like, why on earth in a million years would you do that? Why in a million years? I mean,
from an 800. I mean, even for a GM, this would be a highly suspicious game. The accuracy of this game is probably in the 99s. 99.0. So, yeah. Not a single inaccuracy, not a single mistake, not a single blunder. That's extremely suspicious for anybody, really. And what makes this even more suspicious, and this is what cheaters very often do nowadays, is that they'll do something like e5. They'll play an opening that takes eyes off of the game because you think, well, this guy couldn't be cheating. He played knight f3, e5. I have seen this a lot in my chat. When I played a cheater in the speedrun, or when I've played cheaters, you'll often see them play horribly in the opening, then they'll get a lost position. And, then they'll start cheating, and that's what they often do to mess with the accuracy. And, to basically be able to say, well, but look, like I blundered a bishop in the opening. I obviously wasn't cheating. But you have to take a look at the second part of the game. They're smarter than that. All right, there's a lot of these tricks people use to make you think that they're not using a computer, but they are. No, I certainly wouldn't notice by move 8. And what I just said, all of what I said, does not constitute sufficient evidence to ban somebody. This is not how chess.com does it. They don't have a GM manually look at the game and say he's definitely cheating, even though he's definitely cheating. It's an algorithm that decides that mathematically. It is not, prone to human error. So I could be talking about this all day, and people sometimes think that this is how they get banned. It's like you have like a human pilot reviewing the games and making judgment calls. That's not how it works. All right, there is human verification in high-profile cheating cases, but it's really not up to like human error, if that makes sense. The algorithm is secret. I'm not at liberty to reveal anything about it. But I can tell you that what I am at liberty to reveal is that it is very carefully constructed and extremely waterproof, like 99.99% effective, basically. It's almost never wrong. That I can reveal because it's a good thing. Thank you, Triumphs. Now, obviously, it's statistics. A lot of it is statistics. You compare with Magnus games. You have a benchmark. This is not proprietary technology. This is how most cheat detection systems work. Is you compare it to, let's say, Magnus's Sinkfield Cup 2015, and if somebody played better than Magnus played in a classical tournament, that already basically means they're cheating.
Je veux absolument voir la fin en live et c'est normal, donc...
C'est bon, il a fait mieux.
Ah, ça y est, c'est fini. Kramnik est champion du monde d'échecs. C'est terminé. Eh bien, on le voit qu'il est, il est content, Vladimir. Il est super content. Il a levé les bras au ciel. Merci Joël Lautier de nous avoir accompagnés pour la fin de ce match. Et oui, Kramnik qui lève les bras au ciel.
5 years later, I had to play Vladimir Kramnik for another challenge, for the World Championship match in London. And it was a great year for me. From 99 to the first half of 2000, I had probably the best winning streak in my career, maybe the best in the history of chess. I had the highest rating ever. I won a number of tournaments, eventually all tournaments I played, and the quality of chess was superb. It just was great ideas, you know, splash here and there, in the openings, in the middle game, in the end game. And so I believed, as everybody said, I was unbeatable. It doesn't mean that I stopped working. I worked really hard. I came back with new ideas. I wanted to surprise Kramnik, and I believed I had enough strength to win. But he was a good pupil of Botvinnik, and he was a good pupil of Garry Kasparov. He looked at all the games, and he found that even, you know, on this burning sun, there were some spots. So there were certain positions where I didn't feel very comfortable, certain moments where I slipped, where I was hesitant, where, you know, you could actually find out that Kasparov's game was not very consistent. So he designed a strategy, a great strategy, to drag me from the territories where I felt most comfortable into the territories where I felt shaky. So it's like, you know, two different, you know, types of game, like in tennis. Somebody has a huge serve and then rushes to the net, and someone is playing from the back line, just waiting for mistakes and then hitting hard. Kramnik played from the back line, but he also was very smart to know exactly where I could make mistakes and on what turf he could prove that Kasparov was not unbeatable. The match was a disaster for me. In 15 games, I couldn't win a single one and lost 2. And I lost the match to Kramnik. I was out-prepared.
Yeah, so let's talk Toilet Gate. I mean, there have been so many world championships, these matches with crazy backstories.
Yeah.
And the media seems to ignore the simple ones that are just chess. The guys who are just playing regular moves and not worrying about any other drama. But whenever we have one like Kramnik versus Topalov and Toilet Gate breaks out, suddenly the media is all interested.
Absolutely. We are blessed. That's what happens. I mean, and in the chess world, whether it's yogurts or parapsychologists or what have you, somehow that stuff gets involved in the world of chess. So we had left, and we were pretty much, there he was, Vladimir Kramnik, world champion, in this wonderful line succession all the way back to Steinitz. But when Garry had gone his own way with Nigel Short in 1993, FIDE continued their world championships. So we had this schism, and there was Anatoly Karpov playing against the likes of Jan Timman, as well as Gada Kamsky in 1996. And then all hell broke out with his 128-player knockout matches.
Get all kinds of champions.
All kinds of champions.
Kazimjanov.
You bet. And somewhere by the year 2006, the FIDE had gone back to the Candidates Tournament World Championship. Essentially 8 players, best players in the world, double round robin, guy who wins it wins the World Championship, and that guy was Veselin Topalov.
Who played magnificently.
Unbelievable.
That was just absolutely incredible. Dynamic style.
Right.
Sacrificing exchanges like it was nothing for compensation, and just effortlessly winning. It looks, I think he won 6 out of his first 7 games.
Yeah.
So just
the first half.
Just killed people.
Exactly. So, and in fact, I'm pretty close. I'm in the right ballpark. I believe he was #1 player in the world. So now we had Vladimir Kramnik, who had defended his match against his title against Peter Leko, saying, no, I'm still the classical world champion, and that's the FIDE guy. But the FIDE guy is legit. No, this guy Veselin Topalov's the real deal, and there ought to be a unification match. So in Elista, the FIDE decided to host a unification match between the two claimants, and let's go. And then comes the toilet gate.
Well, they also had to agree that this would be the match. Certainly, Kramnik extracted a few gains. He wanted to make sure that he got some rematch possibilities, not rematch directly, but seeded into the next cycle and all that. Finally, they all agreed on all the particulars.
Terms,
Then they start playing. The match is going well for Kramnik.
Right.
And then Silvio Danailov puts in a
the
claim.
manager.
The manager
of Topolov.
found out that maybe Kramnik has been visiting the restroom a little too often.
That's right.
And says somebody needs to go in there with him.
Right.
We're thinking maybe something's going on.
Right.
Which of course, he's talking computer assistants.
Of course.
Against a gentleman like Kramnik.
Right.
I mean, people took sides immediately.
Right.
And mainly against Danailov and by extension, Topolov.
Yeah, it was an infuriating charge with absolutely no evidence. But it did what Silvia wanted, which was just threw up the match into chaos. And it got people angry. It got Vladimir very angry because now his pride, his dignity.
And his reputation.
And his reputation was being accosted. And he said, this is real garbage, because what had happened is that in his protest, Silvio had said that essentially Vladimir had visited the bathroom too often. We want to close the bathroom. And that was the whole toilet gate issue. And the idea was at the start of the competition, you have your bathroom, I have my bathroom. And when I'm white, I have this bathroom. And when I'm black, I'm going to get the other bathroom that's close to being black, right? So I don't have to walk across you. So we all had our separate bathrooms. And we went back and forth. The idea was that Silvio said, well, let's just close down the bathroom. The players use that one. And he said, well, come on. I mean, the contract stipulates and this and that and that. Vladimir, forfeits a game.
In protest?
In protest of the decision.
Looks like the match might not even continue.
Might not even continue. But cooler heads prevail. Vladimir gets the big fat 0. The match continues. The match is tied in the classical chess portion. Goes to tie breaks, which is unbelievably dramatic. And Kramnik plays some of the greatest rapid chess games ever, like games of 30 minutes, where his play was just unbelievable. And he wins the unification bout, which then comes the era of Vichy Anand.
Well, certainly that kind of intrigue is something that we did not want to see happening in chess. We generally don't want to see happening in chess. We want to see gentlemen playing.
Of course.
But just for some reason, we attract that kind of crazy chaos as psychology often ends up coming into our wonderful game.
Just as you imagine two guys coming to the chess table, both greet each other, stand up, shake each other's hands, wish each other a good game, sit down. Shall I start the clock? And the guy pushes the clock and pokes him in the eye. Surprise! You know, like somehow in chess, we get the poke in the eye when we
bring up because for many years, those two players never shook each other's hands.
Thereafter.
They had to face each other so often, they never shook hands.
That's correct.
That changed only recently with the defrosting of all the iciness of the relationship.
We thought it was a permafrost, but you're right. There's kind of been a little bit of de-icing, but that was because of a new FIDE rule. FIDE is always changing the rule. And now the rule is, even if you hate my guts, if I offer you my hand at the start of the game, you've got to accept it.
Sounds like a good rule. Sounds like a good rule. And certainly was a crazy match, one that we'll all remember for a long time.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've agreed to talk about cheating in chess. Did you cheat in Elista?
No, I never cheat in my life, and not only in chess, but especially in chess. I never played any prearranged tournaments or anything. No, that's.
You've never agreed to a quick draw?
Well, that happened, but that's all. That's all. Well, this is a kind of part of chess. You know, it's part of chess culture in a way. It's from time to time, but very rarely. Also, very rarely. You know, most of the quick draws which I made, okay, just happened like this. I mean, but this is not common. I mean, I can't even remember last time when I made a short draw just without really playing. I can't even remember. But definitely not winning or losing, not buying games, not selling games, and of course no cheating during a game. So that's quite obvious. But anyway, I mean, if you are talking about the cheating problem, first of all, I would start with this, that I believe that we shouldn't become too hysterical about it, because I don't like the trend, the situation is developing a little bit strangely, because a lot of mass media people are talking about it now, but nobody is doing anything. I mean, this I find strange. I would prefer not to talk too much, because everything is said, everything is clear. That okay, it's absolutely obvious that theoretically nowadays it's becoming easier and easier to do this in all tournaments where you don't have anti-computer control. There is nothing else to add to it. So now we have to get to the practical point and to try to find a solution what to do about it. So how to make anti-computer control. Okay, I'm not a specialist. I don't know much about it. I guess you should ask people from absolutely different areas. You know, maybe somebody of informatician. I don't know, maybe even somebody from secret services. I mean, they can be useful to tell what can be the possibility. But anyway, and then just to establish, like in sports, we have anti-doping. The same to make in chess, because it's necessary. I mean, it's unfortunately there is not only that there are a lot of conversations about it which are damaging chess and damaging names of some players also sometimes. But it's also objectively happening now. You know the story in, I think, Philadelphia Open, the story in India when somebody was caught. Okay, it's becoming a bit, you know, then a bit frightening already, the situation. So I think that I don't see what is the problem to start taking serious measures about it.
Like what?
Okay, of course there are many different ways, but let's say the most basic things, which I would say, of course, no mobile phones. I don't see any difference between a mobile phone which is switched off or which is switched on. I don't see any difference. You go somewhere and you switch it on and you can get certain hint. I mean, they should be banned completely. All kind of electronic devices, all. I mean, maybe even watch. Everything. Then definitely metal detector. To check with metal detector a player before the game. I think it's okay. It's not. I was already going through it in my match with Kasparov, with Lekov, with Topalov. Okay, it's not a problem. I mean, it's 1 minute. I don't have any problem with it, and I don't think any player would have a problem. And one more thing. Okay, one thing which I like already, what will happen now in Dortmund is they'll delay an internet transmission 15 minutes. So it will be actually live for people, but just with 15 minutes delay. So let's say if the game starts at 2, for them the game will start at 2:15, and then it would go live. So, and this 15 minutes or maybe even half an hour delay, maybe it's possible to make it half an hour of each move. It makes it impossible to make, I mean, well, to transmit moves through certain, I don't know, wires or something. I don't know how it works, but at least it's one thing that to avoid this kind of, and okay, also to avoid any contact between chess players and the audience. Actually, this is also not so difficult to say, to make. I mean, you can. There are many ways you can put a glass, you know, this
like in a lista,
or you can make a special light, so the full light is on the scene and there is no light in the spectators area, so the spectators they see the players and the players they don't see the spectators. So this is a goal. I think it's not so difficult to make it. I mean, and I believe it should become an official standard. Let's say FIDE should make it an official standard, like for example Champions League in football. Okay, if you don't have a standard stadium with plastic chairs, with standard field, you simply are not allowed to make them. And the same should happen in chess. If you don't have these standards, which should be not too difficult, and I can assure you, this metal detector, no eye contact, no mobile phone, this is not difficult to make. This is really possible and it's not very costly. So this should be simply a standard of each tournament. And I don't see, to be honest, I don't see a big problem to do it. But the point that I'm not happy with, in general, with the world of chess, which is a bit passive in this sense. Okay, I was talking to many different organizers of tournament. I was also talking to FIDE, and I'm trying to convince all of them that okay, please let's start to do it, because we will. Believe me, we will have to do it anyway. If not now, then in 1 year or in 2 years, but then better now, you know, better now before it's too late, before this problem becomes massive. Not only problem of cheating, but also problem of accusing, you know, of all players, half of the players of the tournament to another half of the player of who let's say, who scored more points of cheating. You know, this would be a dramatic situation for chess. So I believe we really need to start doing it, and it's very easy. So let's stop talking much about it. Let's start really to make steps. I'm happy that the next super tournament, which will take place in Dortmund, they already started something. I believe that it can be still improved. I mean, there can be more measures. But as far as I know, in Dortmund there will be this delay of internet transmission, and there will be a research of the player before the games. Okay, this is, and of course no mobile phones are allowed. Okay, this is already something. Maybe actually in Dortmund the eye contact is very difficult between players because we play on the scene, but still maybe it can be done a little bit more about it. But I hope that this will become, let's say, very soon it will become a real standard, and I really hope that the other organizers, they will understand the importance of it for chess, and they will also follow this movement.
We are at the security walkthrough right outside the playing hall of the Millionaire Chess Open, and people wonder about the security here. Of course, we have players being checked when they first come in, but specifically they're also checked before they go into the restroom. Why is that? Because there have been some cheating scandals. You see me go through right now with my cell phone. I've got this cell phone. With the cell phone, I'm able to pull up an app, and if I go into the restroom with this phone, I'll be able to use this app and maybe check on one of my positions at the board. And then if I analyze this game, then I can come right back out in the privacy of that stall. I'll be able to come right back out and make that move that the computer told me. We can't have this happening at the Millionaire Chess Open. So they make sure that they are scanned coming into the building and also into the playing hall, and also coming through the bathroom area to make sure everyone is covered and there is no cheating at the Millionaire Chess Open.
Reese and Amy have taken humongous measures to ensure that nobody can talk to anyone else, nobody can be gaining information in any other way besides from their brain. So I'm not worried about that here, but there are definitely new technologies that help hurt the game, but help people
Well, I have a lot of ideas how it should be settled. I mean, but it's very clear that this is, as Magnus put it correctly, that this is an existential threat for chess, and we are still doing, almost nothing. And this is much more important than almost anything else because it can, especially with new technology, it can completely ruin integrity of chess, if not already starting to ruin, but it definitely will if we continue doing like we do. And that's why, I think FIDE should be more seriously involved. I, for instance, one of the very important concept, I think there must be a certain company, whatever, independent group of mathematicians, something whom you can always ask about some plans. They
Like
will
WADA. Like
like what? Something like FIDE has to be much more active on it. I mean, much more, because they kind of pretend online chess is not our chess. No, sorry, online chess is also chess, and there is a lot of money already there. So for actually many players, they earn more already online. And so you cannot just step aside and say, okay, it's not our business. No, it is your business, FIDE is. So, I mean, there must be, I also hope one day Chess.com will change their I would say, the attitude towards it as well and start to be more serious. But it's very clear something has to be done, and that's my goal, that something very serious starts to. I am also developing an anti-cheating system nowadays. I mean, now it's in the process as well. So if nobody is going to do it, I'm going to do it. But I hope it will be done by someone else, because I have other things in life than getting into this mess. I just felt like I'm maybe in the best position to start telling openly things, because I'm not under contract with Chess.com as many players. Also, I'm not a part of the world of chess, so I can, if somebody would hate me, so what? I'm old already. I've seen a lot, in this life, so I don't care. But so I thought, okay, I have to go this direction, and as long as one day when I see things changing, I would say enough is enough.
Okay. Can you take me to maybe the moment or the period of time where fair play, at least online, kind of came on your radar? Because I feel like we've been here for, I can't even remember how many months now, but was it last year in 2023? Was it before that?
Well, I was not playing before. Actually, I've started to play only by accident, absolutely accidentally, in 2023, I think. I mean, and rather quickly I started to realize that things are kind of strange. Then I just wanted to try something, wanted to talk to Chess.com. We were in certain collaboration, it's not the right word, but in communication.
Yep.
And I didn't see much I would say, from my point of view, I would say, effort to do something about it. And so I felt I have no choice than to try to start doing it myself. And since then I'm there, and hope it will finish sooner than later. But it's not like a lot of fun. I don't gain anything with it, no money, no fun. But I believe that the issue is very important.
I actually do watch a good amount of them, and I think I would echo a point. I mean, I've heard Fabiano say it. Magnus said it in some podcasts. Like, okay, the sentence is, Kramnik is not wrong about everything, right? Like, so this is what they say, and this is kind of what people sort of leave out there. And I mean, sometimes I watch and I go, oh, that does in fact look interesting, to use a word that became very popular. But nobody else is really doing it, right? Like, you're posting things and nobody else is really doing what you're doing. But I suppose my question is, of all the things I've watched, the podcasts and everything, how can we break it down into like one or two sentences, just the hypothesis of what is ongoing? Do you think there is cheating going on, and let's say chess.com is not doing the right things to detect it and take an action?
Or is it more like they know people are cheating, but they just won't ban them, which is a totally different thing? Or they don't
It's
have...
both together and more than that, yeah. I would rather say the second, yeah. And but it's about the scale. Of course, it's kind of logical. Well, there are money, there will be some cheating, and but the scale is, yeah, it's really getting. You know, it's getting more and more every time, and the scale is huge. I have a lot of statistics and very serious statistics. I mean, what I publish is very small part of it, and
Sure.
There is no doubt at all. I mean, let me say my stand, my opinion, if you want, that there is no doubt that cheating is very, very considerable, much higher than Chess.com pretends. I personally have no doubt they know it, because the statistics, I'm sure they have it also. And so what what I want to do is actually to make them do something about it. I mean, to force them, if you want to force them to really fight against cheating, to ban some players. I mean, and then if one day they will start doing it, I would feel that my task is done. Yeah, but so far it's not the case. So I will continue. And as to me, well, it's not like. Well, the problem is actually that what I say pretty often is just mathematics, and it's really mathematics. It's not opinion. It's a fact. Yeah, many things are facts, like low probabilities. It's a mathematical fact.
Sure.
And so when people are, and quite many Chess.com friendly people are confronting the facts, it's not even opinion, it is a fact. That somehow you start to have some ideas, yeah, because you can definitely have different opinion, yeah, no doubt, yeah, but well, some things like probabilities of streaks of Hikaru, it's a fact. I mean, it's a clear fact. It's below 0.01%. It's a fact. So the problem is that I offered many times to Chess.com to have independent mathematicians to check it and to tell it, and I know the answer because I did it already with few people, but they refuse. Yeah. So I mean, it's like, okay, that's why we are too far from. I mean, at some point, to have a normal communication, yeah, to have a normal, maybe even collaboration, you need to get to agree to facts, yeah, and they just refuse to agree to facts. And okay, then it's very difficult to be, you know, to be cooperative and to be to have any common ground. Yeah. So unfortunately, it is the case. So I hope it will change one day. I mean, it's clear it's a matter of will to me. It's not a matter of not understanding, because you don't need even to be high mathematician for it to understand it, that this is a fact simply. So it's clear that it's a lack of will. So what I'm doing, I'm pressing more and more to force them. Once many people will understand that this is a fact, well, that they will start to do something about it. I mean, not necessarily this particular case, but there are many cases with with probabilities like beyond any reasonable. With reasons to cheat in general, I think it's not a relevant question why people cheat. They might have different reasons, like why, I don't know, this, forgot the Velosport legend was cheating.
Lance Armstrong?
Yeah, why he was cheating? He had everything, but he was cheating. I mean, and many, many others, like athletes. So, you know, this is not a relevant question. The point is that there is a fact of, well, almost impossible performance, and all what I want is actually just that they start to examine it. Who is guilty? Maybe his opponents have absolutely rating which has nothing to do with them, so then they have to be examined. But it just cannot be ignored. Yeah, and this is what Chess.com is doing so far.
offer independent research. I even ready to pay for it. They never answer. They don't agree. They don't agree to any clarification of this issue. I agree. Open conversation live on stream with them, with a mathematician. I agree. Let's say if they find the best independent team of mathematicians from Oxford, Yale, I would pay. I agree. But they don't agree. So
okay, well, I'm
sorry,
hope.
yeah, that is a situation. Because why they don't agree, I have only one answer. Because they know what I know. They know the answer. I'm sorry. I cannot.
You're saying
it's my opinion.
They don't want to acknowledge how huge of an issue it is and how hard it is to combat.
I mean, it's my opinion. I'm a rational person.
The point is, what if we took a bunch of, you know, the top 100 rated players on chess.com, every single one of them had to log into some program, there was extra supervision, and there was an arbiter behind them, and we tested it, and the results were the same as they are now. Is there a way to...
Of course, but Chess.com doesn't agree to it as well. This is what we offered with Maxim Vassilograph. We had a stream, and that's what he offered this idea. I fully agree to it. I'm not telling everybody is cheating. I just want them to be checked. It's normal, yeah. And if like in this match, if Jose, I don't know if Jose is playing well. Maybe he's a very strong player. I don't know. I don't have the OTB games. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, perfect. I mean, no problem. But I'm not accusing people. I don't say everybody is cheating. No, it's just like, I mean, Jose also has a very low probability performances, much higher than Hikaru, of course. I mean, not that low as Hikaru, but still pretty low. But it might be okay. It might be okay. So yeah, we are now going to play, and if he plays well, really strong chess, well, no problem. I admit it. I don't accuse him. I just say I think it should be a norm that everyone who clearly overperforms, very strongly overperforms, should just play under surveillance, and if he shows it, great. I mean, perfect. So that is the whole point. And that's what I know that Maxim Vassilograph, he offered to Chess.com this idea, because this is used in poker, by the way. In poker, it's used already long ago, actually. Well, no answer, nothing is happening. So okay,
maybe I can pitch it to them too. I don't know. Maybe. I can contribute to the funds for the arbiters, maybe, and then we can do.
I mean that here, I actually it shouldn't be necessarily me who is playing. It can be any strong player.
I know, yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, why I came here and I agreed to play, because I think it should be norm. It should be norm, and I'm very happy that we are establishing slowly this norm. Okay, that a player who is clearly overperforming, not playing much OTB, he has to show, you know, under surveillance that he is good. If yes, perfect, no problem. Reason to, it's like, you know, in sports, I don't know, Nadal is getting doping control, and then he starts to shout, you know, what is this? You are accusing, come on. I mean, it's just normal. There's nothing wrong in it, yeah? So, so finally
I do just want to say it's not. I mean, there's always anti-doping, but it's. I mean, it's as if someone went and said, "Nadal, your streak of wins is improbable."
No,
but there's nothing he can do to defend himself. I mean, he's just, you know.
No, but it's normal. I mean, let's say I don't think he would ever complain. I would never complain if somebody would tell me, okay, let's say I win 3 title Tuesdays in a row. Yeah, of course I have to be checked. I mean, for sure, I would ask myself, okay, please organize me something. I want to play. It's no, I mean, I don't understand this setup of mine. It's normal because we know that I shouldn't win 3 title Tuesday. I never won, of course, 3. But if I do, all of a sudden, of course, I will tell myself first, please check my games, and please, I'm ready to play the surveillance. Yeah, that's normal. So. But, you know, I just only look at data. I don't look at names or anything. I mean, there is data, and okay, if somebody, you know, is like having a very, very strange data, to put it mildly, okay, I just tell it. But, you know, it's always practically always can mean, because very rarely the case is like such a low probability. Yeah. There was one case, 1 in 50 billion. Okay, he is still playing, by the way, the player. But otherwise, normally the probabilities are not so bad, so there is always a chance that a player is playing fair, but it has to be examined. Like, it's in a way, it's like there is a crime, you see, okay, there is a body, I'm sorry, yeah, with a knife there, and the police comes and said, no, nothing happened, everything's okay. No, sorry, it happened. You have to find who, why, what, but it happened. Don't pretend that it didn't happen. So, I mean, low probability, a lot of extremely low probabilities are happening. So please check it, that's all I want. And give us, especially when it's about, sorry, I'm just finishing now, especially when it's about a very, very strong player, very top players, big players. Yeah, it's much more important even that everybody, including myself, are, checked, checked very, very carefully. And in case of a very low probability performances, the opponents, I mean, they have to know, because, for instance, in the case with Hikaru, okay, I'm going to be very frank with you, yeah. I mean, and I'm not the only one who said it, that, yeah, there are players who are not sure. I mean, I frankly, I don't know many players who would say, okay, no, he's cheating. No, I mean, and I'm not sure. But I know very few players who are saying for sure not as well. Everybody is confused. Not because of him.
I'm confused. Who is saying what?
Players, top players, yeah. I mean, I have private.
Told you that they're uncertain about his legitimacy.
Of course.
But he also talks about it now.
Yeah,
a little bit. He
but
started
I mean,
saying like
that's
Dubov, Nepa, like
Eric Hansen also told it. I mean,
okay.
It's a known fact between among our group. It's a known fact. So what I mean is that you shouldn't. It's difficult to play, I guess, for players with him when they're like uncertain and they never get any explanation. So what Chess.com has to do, if they're sure that he's clean completely, they have to publish, I mean, some mathematical explanation, and if it will be convincing, no problem. But
I worry it will never be convincing enough for you. Like,
why?
I just get that sense.
No, but it's wrong because I'm a rational person. If it fits numbers, because I mean, for sure, what is not convincing is when Chess.com is making a report as they did with Nakamura, with the wrong numbers, with actually totally they're telling at the beginning that they were examining streaks, and at the end they said that one streak is possible. It's absurd. I mean, just don't write absurd. Give me something. I mean, of course, this kind of thing I will not swallow whatever is the result. Even if they would say he is cheating, I would still not swallow because it's nonsense. Just tell me, give me something rational, mathematical, I would accept. No, I don't want to prove somebody is cheater or not. I just want to know the truth. That's all. What if the guy is cheating, has to be banned, whatever person, yeah? If not, perfect, excellent. I would fully admit it, but give me something serious.
Kids. Like, I think one of the last posts before, whatever, Chess.com muted was this kid, Erdogmus. Now we see he's like one of the youngest 12-year-olds in the country. I know you might say something like, well, I didn't say anything. I just posted his statistics. At the end of the day, like, I just posted statistics and the probability.
Yeah.
But I hope you can understand how it can be seen as very, very, like, bad to accuse an 11, 12-year-old of potentially...
But I'm not accused. First of all, this is what Chess.com is always doing, is complete manipulation with the concept. It's not accusation.
But I'm not an agent of Chess.com. I'll tell you my perception is like, I don't want you to post about kids.
But why?
No, I know it's a bias, but like
it's even more important. If kids, especially very talented ones, are cheating, I mean, I don't say he particularly is, but this is much worse than a grown-up man, because this is our new generation. That is even more important. And
yes and no, kids make mistakes. I mean, I get your point, but
so if they make mistakes, they have to be punished. I mean, somehow, and then they will not make it anymore. I mean, it's not like, you know, okay, everybody can make mistakes, but you cannot. I mean, it's very dangerous, especially in this of kids. I mean, I don't know about him. I just saw, okay, his performances were quite crazy. Well, even for extremely talented kids, still completely crazy. So, I mean, I just tell, okay, you have to check him, and yeah, if it's okay, it's okay. But you cannot leave it. It's very important because he's very talented. I check his game. He's very talented. But talented is one thing. Playing top 10 level is another thing. Yeah, I mean, nobody yet at the age of 12 played the top 10 level, and he was a top 15 at some point at chess.com. I mean, I'm sorry. This has to be examined. And I'm not searching for blood, you know. No, I hope, first of all, he is playing fair. And even if not, of course, nobody wants to damage his career. But, you know, it's very important. I mean, that because it's growing, the technologies are getting more and more sophisticated. It's very important that, especially new generation, have it very clearly in mind. This is not possible, and this will be punished. I mean, it takes few guys like this, and you know they will understand everything. But you know the problem is that it's not as a very well-known concept is not about the severeness of punishment, but that the punishment is inevitable. This is very important. If somebody, but it can be a small one with a small kid, I understand, no problem. But it has to be. Everybody has to see all other kids. No. You will be found if you do it. This will be good for chess, and it will not be a problem for, I mean, a huge problem for career. No, this is all nonsense. I mean, again, if he didn't cheat, fantastic. So, I mean, if he cheated, it has to be punished at least in some way for others and for himself. So that is a point. So, I mean, I believe, and I explained it in my blog, that it's especially important with young kids because, unfortunately, statistics shows that it's, to my understanding, it's more often happens with young generation. Let's put it this way, but I can prove it with statistics, but okay, it doesn't matter. So that's why it's important. I mean, if I would cheat, okay, I'm just an idiot and that's it, yeah. Who cares?
For me.
Who cares? But if a young kid cheats, that's much worse, especially, you know, probably for a future top player.
That won't admit they're not playing anymore in our events, and people that did had to serve, in some cases, multi-year bans before they were given a second chance, and then are forever proctored even more closely as they should be. And we do not operate in a third chance opportunity. We operate in a second chance opportunity, and the third time is a ban for life. And
we know some history. Danny has said he had like 4 conversations with Hans Niemann over the years of second chance and so on. So
yeah, it's already 5th chance, yeah. Then.
So,
but okay.
Right.
In a recent video in Russian on his channel, Yan Nepomniachtchi said that he believes you've done some things, some very correct and necessary things, but that you've done some things incorrectly. And that he says, it's my translation, he says, in future, people will be skeptical of your effort because of this, because of the mistakes. You replied in Russian in comments under that video. Let me translate the comment. Some things I could have done better and others hardly, on the basis of some causes unknown to the public, but on the basis of some information known to me. End of quote. So I have 2 questions in this respect. First, what do you think you could have done better? And second, can you please share this information unknown to the public, but known to you? That would be very interesting, I think.
If I could have wanted to share this information, I would already do it, because in general, everything what I do is very open, very public, and I'm ready to stand by my words, and to, in any interview or discussion on internet, whatever, live conversation, it's only the other side which is avoiding it by all means, any direct talk. But some things. I'm not definitely telling everything, what I think and what I know, but I just cannot, for the moment at least. So but what I could have done better, definitely some things, but again, it's like in every situation in life, you always afterwards you think, I should have done this or that. How stupid was I, or something like that. But you didn't know when you were in this situation. You simply didn't know how it will proceed. So it's a kind of cognitive fallacy, to think that, of course, it was clear that I should have done it differently. Well, now it's clear. At that moment, it was not clear. Frankly, the only thing which was surprising to me is actually, frankly, let me put it, let's say, accurately, that it's in a way, let's put it this way, that the world of chess is so different than it used to be, in the sense of, I don't know if you want, mentality-wise. I was sure that certain things would not happen, or there would be certain reactions which weren't. And that's why maybe if I knew it, I would be a little different. But it was actually quite difficult to predict something. So it's okay. We are all we cannot play perfect games. Even if you play well, you still make mistakes. So and here I wouldn't say I'm a professional player. I just started it honestly and sincerely, and also again. I'm not professional in it, I'm just trying to be open, honest, and simply tell what I think, tell what is the situation in my opinion, and and then to see what is the reaction. So now I'm a bit more experienced already. Now I know more, understand even more of the full setup. Let's say the full picture is more clear to me. And I guess I would do a bit better since then. But again, I know the situation. The situation. I understand the full picture. I'm kind of fighting with a big company, which let's be straight. Okay, this is my opinion. Let's say it's argumented. I can bring a lot of arguments on the table, but I'm fighting with a force which wants, in my, again, opinion, wants to hide all this, I'm absolutely sure myself that they know everything. They know the scale of cheating, but they don't want to reveal it. That's I'm completely convinced by many things which happened since then that this is the case. So, okay, if I'm fighting with a multi-millionaire, if not billion, company which has PR agencies, all kind of resources to attack, and I'm basically alone. So in this situation, well, I know that they will, and since I seemingly touched a very sensible and very important issue for them, and probably the most dangerous issue for them. Or maybe one of the most dangerous. So they put a lot of efforts. I can see it, and you can call me paranoid, whatever. I don't care, what people tell, but it's very obvious for a logical person by how it proceeded that they're very careful about it, that they take a lot of measures, how to fight against it, how to keep it, to make it disappear, this agenda. But they cannot manage, which is actually very important. They cannot manage. They're trying everything to, they don't talk anymore. They just don't react anything. They simply, they tried first. They made some mistakes, some huge mistakes. Then they stopped at all reacting. because and then they do it in different ways, but I understand the whole setup. I mean, and then it would be naive for me to expect that everybody will be on my side, because we know nowadays world, especially people who are not who are not specialists in this field. They just listen to what somebody said, and usually they listen to people who has millions of subscribers and so on. And in this sense, it's not my, I knew exactly, when it's like a battle, like a chess game, I knew my play is on the king side, let's say, and they're playing on the queen side. It doesn't make sense to, I know on the queen side I'm weaker and they're going to win this game but I hope to mate them first. And that's why I'm concentrating. I'm concentrating on my flank. It doesn't make any sense to seriously fight against my opponent, as you can say in this field. On the PR field, I'm going to lose anyways. No chance. They have a lot of resources there, uncomparable with me. So I'm trying to keep it kind of alive. Not to lose all my pieces on that flank, at least, but I have no illusion I'm going to lose on PR front, but hopefully I'm going to make them there fast, quicker. So that is, in chess terms, that is the situation.
That's a nice metaphor, definitely. I find it really strange what you're saying, because according to common sense, it would seem that the platforms want to ban and find cheaters, because otherwise the platform that doesn't do that becomes like a place where there are many cheaters, top people, top GMs, world champions.
Which is very profitable.
They see it and they leave it,
of course,
because they don't want to play cheaters. And many people are vocal about their criticism of online cheating. Fabiano, in the podcast episode with me, said that he faces a lot of cheaters in Title Tuesday. You are voicing similar concerns. Many people discuss this problem.
How many more?
Well, most of guests of my podcast agree that there is a problem.
That means nothing.
Might differ in the extent of the problem.
But so what that they agree? What does it change? They stop playing? They play? So what? No, this...
Well, if the platforms do not ban cheaters, they might leave to another one.
To which one?
Potentially.
No, I will explain you. But it's very, very... In fact, this common sense, so to say, is actually totally wrong, in my opinion. Common sense tells exactly the opposite. Because, let's go. If you have time, I will explain you how I believe everything happened. At some point, Chess.com was a very serious platform, but in quite high concurrence with, for example, Lichess. We are talking about 5 years ago or earlier. Maybe ICC was there and some other. It was not like so dominant as it is now, So then there was pandemic, Queen's Gambit, etc., and so on. So then you had to. There were a lot of people who, especially I think pandemic, who started nothing to do at home, started to play chess online. So there was a very hot moment when there was a moment of expanding. Somebody had to take all those maybe millions of people. So there was a big concurrent fight at that moment. How to win this fight? Let me be frank, and it's not something it's just because I'm honest. It's not something to damage Chess.com or whatever, but to me, it's very clear, at least for me, it's clear that Lichess is a better, much more friendly user platform. It's more comfortable board. Everything is actually for a user. That's my opinion. And for sure, I would prefer to play on Lichess. Purely as a user. So, okay, that's my opinion. If you don't agree, it's okay. But then how do you win this competition? There are a lot of people. Okay, now let's get to basics. Okay, let's say you have a John or Ivan who enters and he wants to play he has nothing to do during pandemic. He wants to play chess games. What happens? Chess is not a game of a chance. In chess, you cannot really raise your level so easily. So basically, very soon, finally, and you enter it as entertainment, as any other game, at the beginning. So then what platform wants business-wise, that you stay and play. And finally, even by the most important, last but not least, so to say, you buy a subscription and you pay money, and you stay. So when you play a game of chess, what happens after some time? Well, you are stuck on a certain level. You are stuck, let's say, 1,500. Okay, you basically beat 1,300 all the time, and you always lose against 1,700. Otherwise, before you start to do serious work, it's not easy to improve level in chess. And basically, logically, you leave very soon, because at some point you are stuck. It's always the same. And if you really don't allow, seriously take care of machine, if you can use engine, then you can beat anyone, basically everybody can beat everybody in a way, And then it becomes very interesting. You can even beat Magnus Carlsen, in the first round of some event. Then it is what people don't understand. It's very obvious from a business point of view that you keep much more people in this way than, of course, some would leave, maybe some strong grandmaster, and that is true, some left, but you keep much more people like this, being very kind of tolerant, so to say, about it. And that is, I believe, in my opinion, that is actually the way, because I think Chess.com was extremely tolerant to this at that moment, just to get all those people, all this mass of people who came during these couple of years. And they won the concurrent fight, So they won the fight. A lot of people subscribe to Chess.com. They like it much more than others because it's kind of much more tolerant. That is just my clear logic. And okay, you might agree or not, but that is how I see the situation. And by the way, it's by the kind of proof by numbers, statistics which I have. Then at some point, now you are becoming a hostage of your business model, because of course, if you allow it so easy, and then, okay, you want top players, you want strong players, because those people, if you want them to pay, like, I think it's like $100 or even more per year, subscribement. If you want them to pay, they want entertainment. They want also not only play, it's not enough to pay $100. They want to see all best players playing. So then, you need to deliver this, that players are playing. Top players. Then somehow, then you give money. When you give money, okay, there was probably you also want all players to be on your platform, strong players. So then at some point, I think it crossed the barrier when actually fighting against me, even when you already I would say maybe 22 or something, it was clear, especially when they bought this Magnus Group, it was clear they're becoming, let's say, clearly they're becoming monopolist. They become a monopolist. That was a moment where you could maybe try to change the business model, but it was too late, I believe, because the scale of cheating is, I think, not too many people understand what is a scale. And the problem is that you cannot now ban. You cannot ban because, not that you cannot, but the risks of banning some people are so high of a big scandal. Because why it is completely wrong. First, you are telling that there is no proof. You don't ban if there is no proof. Okay, please tell me, what can you consider as a proof? There is no such thing as proof 100%. There is no such thing. There is a very important legal thing. When you're, I mean, let's say most of juridical cases, when somebody stole money or whatever, most of the time he doesn't admit. So it means then there is no proof. You cannot put him in prison. And here we are not talking about prison. We are talking about ban, even can be maybe not public, you know. So, I mean, it cannot work, the system. So there is a very, very important concept, beyond reasonable doubt. That is the concept. It's not proof. Yep. Proof is not the concept. There is no proof existing. Okay, the proof can be only what? A person admits himself, all of a sudden he says, I'm cheating, by the way. This is not going to happen. Then you find something in his browser. Okay, he is not idiot. Yeah, they're not idiots. He will not have it so openly. Yeah, and that's it. Then it means if you are asking for proof, it means a priori doesn't make any sense, any anti-cheating system, because there is no such thing as proof. There is a such thing as beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay, maybe they had a reasonable doubt.
Maybe
they had reasonable doubt. Maybe this is...
No, I mean, again, all this maybe is a way, I mean, what I do, I have, if one chance out of 50 billion is not beyond reasonable doubt, I'm sorry. If a player of 25 feet...
That is assuming that FIDE ratings are legit, because many young players don't play too much, for example, Blitz offline, and their Blitz OTB ratings do not match.
No, but I mean, then, you know, you're trying to... I mean, not you, but Chess.com trying to dissolve it in a way like you cannot, but you have to measure somehow. Okay, in this case, the person, I mean, he never had any result in Blitz. Okay, he is a better player definitely in Blitz than 2500, definitely. But maybe 26, maybe even 2650. But beating, you know, I think 3 times Nakamura during this streak, Carlsen, I think, I mean, Firuza, it's just ridiculous. It's impossible. I mean, common sense tells it's impossible. It never ever happened. I checked, okay, I cannot check every player, but it's obvious that even weaker player, I mean, not even 4. I'm not talking about 12 in a row. Even 4 in a row I couldn't find. I mean, it is absurd. I mean, let's not search for, I mean, he has a lot of other, it's not the only one he has, not the only, let's say, fault he has. He has some others. But this is one, if you don't ban after this, it means you don't want to ban. I'm sorry, yeah? So the concept...
Can I stop you for a second?
No, but 1 second. I want to explain all these 3 things first, yeah? First, the concept that there is no proof, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is what can make sense. You say, is it beyond reasonable doubt? Not beyond reasonable doubt. That we can discuss. I mean, I don't know if 1 out of 50 billion is, if it's not beyond reasonable doubt, that what is, but okay, that is one thing. Second, you're talking about Chess.com banning people. You say, okay, you always receive notes. Yeah, but they're banning people when on the lower level, when nobody knows, nobody cares. But they don't do it on the high level. I played almost 2,000 games already on Chess.com, Blitz games. I never received a single note like this. I mean, you understand the difference? Anyway, who has to do it? What I wanted to tell, please, Chess.com, out of respect of integrity of chess, honest play, out of respect of honest players, if a person showing such a result, you have to explain to concurrents how it's possible. Because you cannot just tell, no, I mean, because all what they say is, we checked, everything is okay. So what? I mean, why should I trust you? I mean, I have my, let's say, I have my common sense, I have my mathematics. I see a person, let's say, beat 20 times in a row, I don't know, Magnus Carlsen. And you tell me, we checked everything, okay, I'm sorry, give me numbers, give me something. Why should I trust you? So that's all what they provide to us. And okay, and we just have to believe, like, we are not in kindergarten, yeah? We are not 5 years old. Sorry, explain why it is okay. They never so far explained. The only once they did it, with Niemann and his user. And actually let's be frank, they lost the case. That was the only one. And since then, they are not even showing anything. So what should I think? One time they decided to show and they lost. They don't show anywhere else, and I have to believe them that their checking and the anti-cheating system is very strong. No, I'm sorry. I'm a rational person. I want the proof. And why they wouldn't ban now some players? Why they are not banning somebody who beats 12 times in a row, top players, in 12 games, and etc. etc. Because of two reasons. You give, you create a precedent. First of all, that you ban a prominent player, but the most important, there is a big risk. Just understand, and this is not paranoia, this is absolutely rational. Okay, you ban a player, and he is very unhappy with it. I mean, first of all, very important, he can get a legal case. I mean, a person can end up in prison for this easily. I mean, because let's say if he won $100,000, let's say, yeah, and you ban him and he admits and you ban him publicly. I'm sorry, but he might start to get cases from his opponents. Okay, I mean, that's one story. Second, his kind of name is ruined. So he wants to fight back, and he comes and he tells, okay, I was cheating in many games, but also in this game, which I lost, also in this against this player, which I drew or lost. And here is my video, I was recording it. Can you imagine if this is the case? Can you imagine how many heads can potentially fall? I mean, it's a drama for Chess.com. If this is happening, it's a drama. So that is why, I mean, there is it's too late for them without a big scandal. They're just, my opinion, they're just afraid. They're very afraid because they understand that people might have a lot of video materials. I mean, they can video what they are doing. And when you ban somebody, but you see that he was winning, losing one game against, I see it, by the way, it's one of the methods of understanding who is cheating, is a person who are, I mean, clearly very high probability of cheating during a certain period of time, let's say 100 games in a row. But for some reason, very often happens that against the same player, he's always making draws or losing. I mean, he's beating almost everyone else. But those games, 96 boss draw, 95, 97 he lost. I mean, everything is clear, yeah? and he beats everyone else. So, I mean, there are a lot of actually issues which, again, if you understand, I mean, if you see it in my way, I mean, and I'm basing it on statistics, that actually the scale is very serious. Then you can understand that if you want, your business, okay, it's very risky decision, but I still believe they should do it, is to clean the whole thing and to start from scratch. Because otherwise it will ruin the site. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not against Chess.com, but it's already what is happening, that it becomes more and more obvious every day. And that is what I predicted at some point. But that's another story. I will explain later that, one day it will become impossible to hide, even for amateur who doesn't know much about it. It's just too obvious. Yeah. And because people have to cheat more and more. I mean, it's a concurrence. Yeah. And then somebody says, okay, I cheating, let's say half games, I cannot anymore win prizes. So I have to cheat 8 games out of 11. The other guys see, okay, sorry, but there are a few guys who are cheating. So and now it's there are already some tournaments when people are showing such crazy results that absolutely impossible, because it's the only way for them to win money. And the last thing I want to tell,
have worked with scientists and
I still do.
statisticians in the pursuit of your research. Yeah, can you please name names and scientific degrees of such people who participate in the research, who review your results and approve them scientifically? Because that would help the credibility. That's the question that many of my subscribers asked when I asked them what to ask Vladimir Kramnik.
I will definitely do it, but I'm not the one who is responsible for taking decisions here. So I would do it after Chess.com will reveal their names. They never revealed a single name. So them first. I'm a gentleman. They're first. I will also reveal all statistic, all analysis researches after they will do, because they have to do it, not me. It's their obligation for me. So as long as they're refusing to give any name, to give any serious research mathematical on this age, I will not start. Because I explained it already, because I want them at least once to give once you give a name, a number, this person is responsible for what he says. And that's why, I can clearly see the strategy. They never give a name, they never give a number. So then you can always say, okay, it was, no, please, sorry. You give, I give. But I'm not going to play on the field. I'm not going to play the game where the cards are changing all the time. The pack of cards always different. No, let's settle. You give, I give. You make report, I make report. I made already 20 times more numbers and so on that they did. It's the ball is on their side. Sorry, guys. If you want, let's say, to prove something, it's your turn now. I will follow. I can guarantee you, I will follow immediately. But they will not do it, of course. I know they're not going to do it because I know once they publish a serious report, really with every number of probability, everything, whether you are responsible for it already, and the mathematician which would never sign it, at least with the conclusions, because then his name is under fire, so to say. Or they will not publish, one of two. If I'm mistaken, I would be very, very glad to be mistaken. And then because the report signed by Danny and Eric, mathematical report, this is a joke, I'm sorry. I want a mathematician name, signature, and then we speak with my mathematicians. Before that,
to say that you are a rational person operating on the basis of facts, not emotions.
No emotions.
I have a question in that regard. So you have recently published a series of videos on some chess players whom you could say whom you are not impartial towards. Who, for example, did something to make you unhappy. It could be argued. For example, international master Matvey Galchenko, who published information that you played under the Krakowi account, some other people who played against you and you suspected them while playing against them because they won against you. So that's made them targets of your research. So the question is, does this go in line with the principle of impartiality? Because you want to be impartial and you can do your best, but you cannot in such cases. I used to work in law, as I said, and in most countries you cannot be a judge in a case where you have a personal grudge, so to say. But and you have researched many people whom you might have such a grudge against. Do you agree?
No, it's your assumption that I might have. Actually, I don't have. I don't feel like it's the idea is different. There are some why I do research, not only by the many researches I did with players whom I didn't even play, but because I just learned about the guy. Because he played against me, it was clear that it was very dubious, and I started to make a research. That was the case. Like with this Galchenko guy, I didn't even know about him. It's just that when I learned about him, I understood that it's what he's saying is very, very suspicious. And I started to check his games, that's all. It was not a revanche. This is a way, all this Chess.com Nakamura, it's always a way to make it emotional, personal. It's not personal. Believe me, I don't care at all about the guy. I mean, I don't know him and I don't want to know. I don't care. It's just that once you check, like Nakamura, there was nothing before, at least before, after. Now, okay, of course I don't like him because what he started to do after is just insane and so dirty and ugly what he was doing, insulting. I mean, okay, still I don't hate. I just despise him. Yeah, but I mean, it was not because I have something personal. It's just because the guy has. I mean, such performance. I clearly see that there is, well, in my opinion, 100% clear something is fishy. If not 100, I just present it. I present arguments. I don't want to damage somebody. I present arguments. I think they're very strong. Many people agree with it. Some maybe not, but that's all I do. If you don't agree with it, argumentatively, okay, yeah, it's your point. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I just tell, okay, this is what I think. This is what I believe. Here are the numbers, games, everything. And that's it. I mean, again, with a guy like Galchin, I mean, I just don't want to continue. I don't care about him. I mean, I just know that Caruana very openly was, let's put it this way, suspecting him. I know Kamsky was suspecting him. To put it mildly, I also do.
Well, Kamsky is suspecting everyone.
And not everyone. No, sorry, not. Of course, many, but not everyone. And I know, as we talked about it at the beginning of the, I know things you don't know. So I know some opinion of other top players. Let's put it this way. And it's a maybe most of top players, private communication. And that's what I mean. And I know their opinion, let's put it this way. Okay, that's all I want to say about it. I cannot morally reveal any details. But, and I can tell you one last thing, believe me not, it's your choice, but I'm, hand on the Bible, that quite a number of those, they were thanking me for what I do. They were saying, please go on, please continue. And that is the truth. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, believe me not, your point, that is the truth. And I know what they think. I know. You might guess, or say, I know. So doesn't matter. Okay, that is another story. But you might not believe me. That's that why I'm the only one who is doing it so openly. So because, first of all, in a way, it's a role. I've chosen this role after started checking it, after also having private conversations with some players. In a way, it's a role of like Matrosov. You know who is Matrosov. So I'm going in the front row under all the bullets. Because I know that it's not going to be funny, but first of all, I don't care so much. I'm not monetizing from my image, whatever, world champion, I don't care about it. So that is, and second, I'm not anymore professional chess player. I'm not part of the world of chess. So if somebody hates me or chess.com hates me, I don't care, I mean, I can show a finger, yeah? So, and it's much more difficult for other players. So, and secondly, very important, okay, you probably, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but you can try to ask, I would like publicly to ask chess.com, maybe if they can reveal, I don't think it's anything secret in the information, how many top players, famous players are under contract of chess.com? Very good question. Maybe you can ask.
Quite a lot as far as I know.
Quite a lot, yeah. And one of the closer, I saw one of these contracts some time ago, yeah. One of the clauses you cannot say anything basically against chess.com. And that is for people to understand. At least in the one draft, I saw a draft of one contract. Of course, I will not tell you from whom. And there's very clear, very strong limitation on what you can do, what you cannot say. And that is the point. I mean, basically, I'm sorry, I'm very, you already understood that in this interview and in other, I'm very straightforward. I don't care what people will think. But, I mean, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I personally would call buying silence. It's buying the silence. Basically, you pay the very good contracts. but you are not allowed to tell anything, basically. And in my opinion, that is the main reason why players are only, they still, and I can thank those who are still even having this contract, they still start to complain, they still tell it publicly, but they just cannot, whether they have to stop the contract. And this is a very important point. This is actually in all my picture, which I've drawn today, this is a very important element that, okay, I hope they'll not be too insulted with it, but okay, you get this whole structure, you don't touch some, and you buy the silence. You buy the silence of many players, basically. So, okay, it's very, of course, it's not the euro, but it's the factor is how I see it. Otherwise, if not these contracts, I can guarantee, I'm absolutely convinced, again, believe me or not, there would be already a number of players who would be very loud about it. And that is the last cherry on the pie to understand the whole situation. So when I see the situation, I'm playing this role, if you want. Also, that's why I'm so harsh. I'm so provocative, if you want. Yeah, it's a strategy which I've chosen because I don't see any other way. I understand how bad is the situation, in my opinion. And if I just start to be polite, no, maybe this guy, he has 1 out of billion chance, but maybe he should, maybe not, but come on. I mean, I'm just going all in. Yes, I get a lot of hate. Maybe, I agree, maybe with 1 or 2 out of 50, I'm wrong. I mean, or maybe less, I don't know. I understand. And I apologize immediately to everyone who is wrongly suspected. I know it's my fault. But if you don't do this now, we will ruin online chess first, integrity, and then the real. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I know I'm doing some things. Some people are probably clean, not too many from whom I mentioned, but definitely big minority, but maybe. And I sincerely apologize to them, but I don't see any other way, unfortunately. How to get this point that, something has to be done about it. We don't have much time, I can assure you. Technologies are raising. It's going to get offline, I can assure you. If not already, probably not, but very soon. We just don't have time to ask Chess.com, to wait for the response for 2 months, and they promise a lot of things they never do, like this check-in. Maxim Vashelograph, we had a recording with him, a stream, and he was asking Chess.com to, they never did, of course, and they never do, and time goes and goes. Cheating is more and more, and once it's offline, the case is over. And, simply no time. Okay, people would hate me, think I'm crazy, so what? Okay, I mean, not that I like it, but it's not most important. So that is now. What are the usual arguments of the platform in order to ignore all kind of suspicious statistics? So this is a kind of vicious circle. Yeah. So they say, okay, we will check it. We will not tell you the result. We will tell you the result only. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. Just that, okay, this person is banned. This person is innocent. That's it. Whatever statistics, and sometimes it is really alarming, but simply we have to trust, like in religion, we have to trust them on words. Just, okay, they tell so it means it is like this. Sorry, I'm not used to work like that. I want some explanation, especially when something is very strange, you know, clear to everyone that the statistics is incoherent, is very non-standard. And because me, as other players, many other players, we are playing these tournaments, we are playing for money, and we want to be sure that what Chess.com claims very clearly states that they're doing their best to secure fair play. I mean that this is according to reality. I personally, and not only me, as you can, as you know, have serious doubts about it. And I think I have a right as a chess player, as a person whom, you know, who is playing there, who is promised in return of my play, I mean of playing there and also maybe bringing certain public watching my games. Okay, I only think I'm promised, of course, money to be paid if I manage to earn it, and fair play. I mean, and okay, it is a duty, I'm sorry, it's not an option, it's a duty of Chess.com to do everything possible, and also in a way to explain some things, to explain to players, because so that is a point, I mean one very important point, that it's not a private company, completely private. You know, if they would be selling, buying things, it's another story, it's their business, they're just responsible towards the law, but probably okay, and that's it. But they're working in a public sector, I would say, like sports, so it's actually I mean chess as a game is above them, me, and all of us. Yeah, it's a game. There are certain rules, certain traditions, rules of the game, and any structure, online, offline, sponsor who comes to chess, well, has to obey certain regulations. Yeah, and that's why. And fair play, I mean, fighting against cheating. Trying to do your best to preserve fair play is a must for everyone who is dealing in this area in chess world, and so it's an obligation. Sorry, I don't buy this conversation that it's a private company, they can do what they want. Okay, maybe, but then tell it openly. Okay, maybe if you can tell it openly, could be, but then probably many people will not be part of the platform. Yeah, so that's why. That is one story. And second, what is actually another argument, which is kind of funny, because again, it doesn't stand actually the factual check, the fact check, because they very often they pretend that they don't tell anything about the checkup, examination of different players, because it's it's a secret, and that potential or actual cheaters can learn their methods. Yeah, well, first of all, quite often I was just giving statistics and simply was asking, and in some case when statistics was really I would say alarming, I was demanding just an explanation if it's okay or not. Chess.com doesn't have to reveal anything, any secret, then just checking it and telling, let's say, giving the number of mathematical probability of it. I have mine after very serious work with mathematicians, and certain statistics has, I mean, the probability of lower than 1%, in my opinion. Okay, I would like just that they give the number, because once you give at least one number, you are responsible for what you said. Yeah, but so and it doesn't mean revealing any secret at all, because all the data I already produced publicly, I already published it. So sorry, this argument just doesn't work in many cases. When I was asking them to answer, and Chess.com was trying to explain to public that it's a secret and they cannot answer. No, it just doesn't work because of above mentioned. And second,
are ready for the moment when we must dive into this chess.com controversy.
Sure.
So I'll just try. Here's going to be my goal as host. Basically, I think people can listen to the evidence. And for background, so you recently won a Title Tuesday event for chess.com, and you wrote a blog.
No, sorry, I didn't win the Title Tuesday. I came like 6th or something.
Okay. I'm glad we have you here to correct me.
Yeah.
So you came in 6th in chess.com, and then it's Title Tuesday event, which a lot of the top players in the world compete in. And then the next day you were when you were unable to log into chess.com, and I'll let you pick up the story in a minute. But just to give listeners who aren't aware of the story, like some background on where they can go for information, Akshat wrote a blog post discussing this that I'll put a link to in the show description. And there's an epic thread on Chess Reddit, shout out to Chess Reddit, discussing this. And I'm sure in other corners of the chess internet, there's other discussions. So a lot of talk about it, but basically there's no substitute for just hearing what you have to say about it. And my goal as host will be to ask questions that people have submitted to me, and to ask questions that I see raised online, but to remain neutral and to let people form their own conclusions. So with that out of the way, Akshat, why don't you pick up the thread and tell the story of what happened when you found out that your account was banned?
Well, yeah, I think you recapped it pretty well. I mean, after the second Title Tuesday in April, I was unable to log into my account the next day, and I sent an email to chess.com's general staff asking how can I resolve the issue, and then I received this bolt out of the blue from Danny Wrench saying that my account's been closed for a fair play violation, and yeah, that's pretty much where it started.
Okay, Danny Wrench, the vice president of chess.com, as most listeners probably know.
Yeah.
So before we get back to your story, actually, Akshat, I want to take a sort of macro view of how you think cheating in online chess, engine use in online chess should be handled, because it's unavoidable.
For sure, I understand.
So what do you think? Chess.com is doing a lot to promote chess, and they're putting money into the pockets of chess professionals by having events like the Title Tuesdays and the Pro Chess League. And unfortunately, since engines are the best players in the world and everyone has access to them, they have this recurring problem of people trying to cheat. But obviously, they're not in the room with the people on the computer. So do you have any ideas of how this could be handled?
Well, I mean, of course, there's probably no easy solution. And I honestly I cannot, suggest anything because I'm not an expert on the subject. It would be irresponsible to do so. But I do feel like at least there should be some avenue for a person who's being accused, despite him believing he's innocent, to at least explain himself, right? It shouldn't be just a one-way street. Okay, now, but what do you mean by believing you're innocent? Because I mean, you're the one person who knows, chess.com has algorithms where they say they have a very high probability. And I mean, in my case, when I say believing, of course, I know I can unequivocally state I've never cheated ever, but I'm just using from their context, how would they see me? They would say, okay, this guy believes he's not cheating, right? I'm using their wording.
Gotcha. So back to the question, what could they do?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert on this subject, so I can't really offer any suggestion on how cheating in chess should be combated. I just feel like it should be a little more of an open process.
Okay.